good afternoon, good morning, and good evening. My name is Stephen Wenzi, and welcome to the dive into the book of Proverbs. Today we are on day 28 of 31. Who can believe that 4 weeks, 4 sets of 7 have gone by since we started doing this on the 1st of January? I know I have had a blast. My mind has just been constantly opened up to so many things, during these last few weeks, and I think the same for you. Look, today it's a call for all of us, to get off the sidelines and to participate, to stand up and to participate, and to be those that are there in the circles or the tables where decisions are made. Proverbs 28 speaks on a whole lot of things, but there's about 5 scriptures that talk about leadership, and leadership essentially from either civil leadership or governmental leadership. More or less those could be the same thing. Proverbs chapter 28 verse 2 says, when there is moral rot within a nation, its government topples easily, but wise and knowledgeable leaders bring stability. Verse 12 says, when the godly succeed, everyone is glad. When the wicked take charge, people go into hiding. Verse 15 and 16 say, a wicked ruler is as dangerous to the poor as a roaring lion or an attacking bear. That's essentially because a wicked ruler will definitely oppress poor people, and most importantly, they do this through heavy taxation or just putting on burdens that people cannot bear, and stealing, because they view leadership as a way, it's a way to grease their own pockets. And so a ruler with no understanding will oppress his people, but one who hates corruption will have a long life. And then lastly, verse 28, when wicked people take charge, people go into hiding. When the wicked meet disaster, the godly flourish. Okay, so this tells me that one of the key things this has told me is that this book, the Bible, it don't lie. It tells us things that are happening. And if I was one of those leaders, perhaps that was not doing the right thing, I would look at this and say, you know what, my fate is sealed. If I keep doing things the way that I'm doing them, I know what the outcome is going to be. That is one thing you can be guaranteed by this book. And so the significance of leadership in civil government is good leaders in government contribute to peace and stability. And how they do that is they bring in predictability. Everybody knows how things are going. For example, you will know that the rubbish is going to be collected on a Thursday or on a Friday. So there's just a lot of predictability. It makes people's lives that much easier. There is less chaos because things are predictable. But most importantly, what will happen is that there is a reduction in transaction costs, because it means that it's actually good for business. Because when there's a lot of chaos, the cost of doing things becomes so high, and that aids to, one, the cost of doing business, and most importantly, the cost of living for a lot of people, because things are just haywire. This is what good government does. This is what good civil leadership does. And we get this, from Paul's prayer to Timothy. He says, pray for earthly leaders that we may lead a peaceful and quiet life, godly and dignified in every way. The reality is that people just want to get on with their lives. They just want to look after their families, raise their children, run their businesses, and just do their best part to contribute to the good society. Nobody really cares about who picks up the rubbish. The only time people say who is in council or who is wherever is when things don't get done. That's when people are concerned about who's in charge. But on a general rule, people just want to be left alone by government to do the things that they want to do, which is to run their lives. Good leadership leads to justice. There's going to be no corruption. And the reason why that is important is that there's a level playing field. And of course, there is no oppression of people. People know that when they go for justice, the courts are not going to work against them, or the matter has already been decided before they even get into the courtroom. And of course, by having all those things in place, this inspires confidence. It inspires confidence that if there's zero or low corruption, that the level field is the playing field is leveled somewhat, which makes it fair for anybody, to the point where anybody can have an opportunity to do business and to do well and to succeed. But if that's not the case, what we tend to find is that people in societies where there isn't good civil leadership, society suffers. And everything just goes chaos. We're not even going to go into what goes into, becomes chaotic, but it's obviously not a good thing. And so people lose their freedom and security. And when it says that the godly go into hiding, it means that there's a fear of speaking or acting, because they know there'll be retribution, because that is how this bad leadership will look to oppress its people, really become very heavy-handed in the way they do things. Now, because we know that we are people of faith, what do? We stand up and we participate. We don't sit on the sidelines and complain about why is the government not working, why is this not working. You know what we do? We put our hands up. And I believe that there are some of you here who are watching this and who are going to watch it, that perhaps there is that thing that God has put on the inside of you, just for leadership, and that call for civil leadership. And my encouragement to you is to take a leap of faith. Speak to whomever you need to speak to, get your counselors around, because we know that there's safety in a multitude of counselors, and stand up and participate. Stand for leadership at work. Stand up for leadership whenever there's an opportunity for promotion. Stand up, because people of faith, we bring integrity on most occasions, because I'm not suggesting that we're not fallible. Well, we are fallible, we're not infallible. And so, but I just think I'm encouraging you to get off the sidelines. If you don't like the way things are being done, you know what? Then put your hand up and do something about it. And then you'll know that the crown is very heavy at times. But that's really it. We just want to be those that participate in civil leadership, so that we can make the difference that we want to see in our lives and in the lives of people around us, in the lives of our country, the country that you live in, and whatever country that you live in, you want to be making a positive contribution to it. And so, this book, mine is a New Living Translation. This book don't lie. Whatever we do, let's hold on to the words that are in this book, because it will guide us and it will give us great insight for living. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for liking and subscribing. And we'll check you on day 29. And there's essentially only 3 more days to go. And so please take the time to go through. And the good thing about this is that you can go through and watch from day 1 right up until today, which is day number 28. And so God bless you. And as always, Steve Magwenzi says, peace.